So what I would like to talk about is expectations and the power they wield in the classroom. In my master's program in the attack of the teenage brain, I ran across this study. In 1964, Robert Rosenthal did an experiment where he told a set of teachers that a random sample of students' intellect was about to bud like cherry trees, according to a fake IQ test that he had given to those random kids. Because teachers believed that this was the case, they treated those students differently. Teachers gave them more time on tests, touched and interacted with them more, and smiled at them frequently. As a result, these students' IQs grew simply based off the expectations of their teachers. So I want to talk about expectations and what research has proven concerning them, and also my personal experience with them. I also want to talk about the negative effects of expectations and how I navigated through high school through the expectations of my teachers. A lot of what I'm talking about will be geared toward black males, but I'm talking about the expectation of all students. Those students can be those who with learning disabilities, physical handicaps, or any marginalized students by society. I don't want to sugarcoat the issue or be obscene about the topic, but I believe we can't ignore what the data says about certain groups in education. Black male teachers represent 2% of the teaching population, so our voice and opinions many times are rarely heard. Lastly, I will want to end with this spoken word, "Will you fight for me?" I have not memorized it, but I do want you to hear it. It says, "Will you fight for me? I'm in a war with very few allies because of all lies. They say that I do not have the capacity to learn like my other peers. They say that I'm a troublemaker and in need of medication. What I truly need is someone who has their PhD in love. Will you fight for me? Because there's a 66% chance of me coming from a poor neighborhood than my white peers. And because of that, most schools I go to seem to be haunted with the idea that life can't live here. Will you fight for me? Because many don't expect me to rise from the ashes of slavery, systemic racism, and low expectations. Will you be the hand like vice grips refusing to let me become a falling star? Because history is so quick to identify my plight and my enslavement, but never show me as the king I used to be before hands that robbed cradles snatched me from motherland. Will you fight for me? They say that they are trying to close the achievement gap, but the only gap that needs to be reached is the one between ears and lungs. Will you fight for me? Because though I make up only 9% of kindergartners, I make up 48 to 50% of suspensions. And in some districts, I am more than 10 times as likely to be arrested for the same crime when my skin is brown. Will you fight for me? Because I'm portrayed as someone who is a great sports, entertainment, and crime. Great in sports, entertainment, and crime. Though the NFL and NBA are 65% to 75% black, only 8 and 3 out of 10,000 go pro. If those are my odds, is it not odd that even prison's prime goal is to have composites of whole brown faces fractioned by negative interactions with a system counted on their failure, proclaiming it's natural? I'm positive you can do the math. Will you fight for me? Because fighting for me is ensuring that someone will stand before you and ask, will you fight for me? Because if you don't, who will fight for me? Thank you.